Well, in Britain we seem to have a towering inferno situation with a building that's burned for about 10 hours. And it's nothing to do with terrorism, apparently. It's a fridge. It's to do with the surface of the building and how flammable the material was and how easily it spread. But of course it shouldn't have happened. It was probably a money-saving texture or material. However, what we can learn from this is that World Trade Center 7 did not collapse from an office fire. Yes, the circumstances are different. Yes, it's not to do with terrorism. But yes, of course we should compare every burning building to another. The only instance in history where a building is disintegrated to dust from a single office fire is World Trade Center 7. And that doesn't mean the Twin Towers. I'm not talking about the Twin Towers because people always go, the jet fuel, the jet fuel. No, I'm not talking about jet fuel. No jet fuel hit World Trade Center 7, the Salman building, the one that the BBC knew was going to fall down before it actually did. They were there reporting that it had fallen down, and it was there standing in the background when they were doing it. So obviously the order from Saudi Arabia, connected by the 28 pages, and Israel, connected by Larry Pullet Silverstein, who pulled World Trade Center 7, obviously that was a collaborative effort to try and foment this war cycle that we're in now, which started with the Project for a New American Century neocon document in 2000. How many other examples are there of buildings that have disintegrated just from a fire? None. The only example is World Trade Center 7, and of course the Twin Towers. It happened 3 times. Obviously, yeah, a single office fire on one floor can burn for 1 hour, and then the whole superstructure of the building can disintegrate to dust. That sounds likely. But it's not likely, it's impossible. And architects and engineers and every child of 3 proved that it was impossible, and know that it's impossible. And they didn't even need to learn about things like the path of least resistance. Just watch architects and engineers. Watch how it's a concentrated demolition which falls into its own footprint and then disintegrates to dust. Watch how the smoke that goes out then just goes up. It suddenly stops and then goes up. And that doesn't happen this time. There was something going on in 9/11. There was lots of people working together to create an event that would be a litmus test for all time in the future. So people would say, what do you think about 9/11? You think that you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, they wanted to keep it secret. They wanted to make the money and get away with it. But we need to start questioning it. We need to start questioning Kissinger's involvement, and we need to start questioning Trump and why he's getting so close to Kissinger. Because Kissinger was the one that ultimately was responsible for the 9/11 Commission's sham cover-up. And this office fire, well, it's not an office, this block of flats that are burning all night for like 15 hours or whatever, it's just been completely ablaze, 300 degrees, however hot it was. It's far, 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 far greater fire than what disintegrated the Twin Towers and than what disintegrated World Trade Center 7. And it's far more of a crummy building, basically made of wattle and daub, than the futuristic World Trade Center complex. And never mind that there was the details of Enron's insider trading scandal that was in World Trade Center 7 when it collapsed in its own footprint, disintegrated in its own footprint into dust from a single office fire that burned for an hour. Think about that. 9/11 is the linchpin. 9/11 is what it all hinges on. The media will still try and tell you that it was Osama bin Laden that was responsible for bringing down the Twin Towers, and everyone will still go and tell you the official lines. Even though the Saudi 28 pages, we know differently. Even though from the 2006 FBI report, we know that Osama bin Laden wasn't even connected to the Twin Towers. He wasn't even involved in it, according to their own investigation. I mean, it's been 16 years ago. They've had a lot of time to be discredited. And they have been discredited because it's the biggest event in history, a cataclysmic, catalyzing event like a new Pearl Harbor, as they quote. And in the investigation into which was a measly portion of money, like $14 million. Whereas the investigation into Bill Clinton's extramarital affairs was nearly $100 million. But that's nothing. That's nothing in terms of money compared to what these elites make. And even these politicians, when you look at Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton going around the world with Uranium One deal, etc., look at the many billions that come pouring in and the millions from the speeches alone. And you'll realise that Obama was part of the same cartel that wants to cover up 9/11, like Bush did, because when Obama came in, he said, I want to thank George Bush for services to our nation. My job is to make presidency trendy again. So he basically had to repackage the old neocon policies as new and trendy and liberal. And he managed to do it somehow. And I think that if he was indicted, and Loretta Lynch was indicted, and Hillary was indicted, that would be the cause for Soros to activate the civil war. He's got all his goons in place, he's got all his troops in place. They're always talking about assassinating Trump on telly. The media is exposed as ISIS sympathizers. The government is exposed as someone who funded ISIS and trained them. And they're exposed as covering up our genocide. Sessions and Comey has revealed where the true crime is, and it's with Loretta Lynch, Obama, Hillary, and Podesta. And they need to be indicted, but I fear when they are, it will cause a civil war. And of course, it will be blamed on Trump.